Hi guys, it's Miss Maud. I'm so happy to be back with you today. This week on Thursday is going to be a full moon, and I love the full moon. I like to go outside and watch it rise. Like seeing it rise over the ocean is one of my favorite things in my whole life. I like to lift my heart up to the moon and send wishes, and I like to do a family walk at night with the moon. Um, and this book I'm going to read to you today also talks about something else that I love so much, an owl. This book is called Owl Moon, and the author is Jane Yolen, and the illustrator is John Schoenherr. Before we read this book, though, let's take a mindful seat. Let's sit up nice and tall. If you're sitting on a chair like Miss Mott, you can have the soles of your feet on the earth and your heart's lifted. And take a couple deep breaths, slow, and just settle. We'll grab our mindful bell. Just give ourselves a shark fin. Here we go. Great job, you guys. So find an easy pose or a hero's pose or a slumber party pose or any pose that is going to feel great for you right now in your body to listen to our story today, Owl Moon. Just the illustration up front tells us so much about the story. There's no leaves on the tree. It's like there's white snow on the ground, and it looks like our characters are wearing winter clothes. Yeah, so much we can tell from just an illustration. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind. The trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright. The sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time, and when their voices faded away, it was as quiet as a dream. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I have been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. I want you to think about why it is you would want to be quiet if you were going owling. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Whoo, whoo, whoo, whoo!" The sound of a great horned owl. "Whoo, whoo, whoo, whoo!" Again he called out, and then again. After each call he was silent, and for a moment we both listened. But there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said something. My brothers all said sometimes there is an owl and sometimes there isn't. We walked on. I could feel the cold, as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time, but I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kind of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Then we came to a clearing. In the dark woods, the moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in the cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf, over my mouth, and listened hard. And then Pa called, "Whoo, whoo, whoo, whoo! Whoo, 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 whoo!" I listened, and I looked so hard my ears hurt, and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. "Whoo, whoo, whoo, whoo!" Who do you think was echoing his paw through the trees? Pa almost smiled. Then he called back, "Woo, woo, woo, woo!" Just as if he and the owl were talking about supper, or about the woods, or the moon, or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf, off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. The owl's call came closer. From high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow, nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently, with heat in our mouths and the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. You see the owl's talons? So wild to think about flying and landing right on a branch with such steadiness. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at one another. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back into the forest. Time to go home, Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud. But I was a shadow as we walked home. When you go owling, you don't need words or warmth or anything but hope. That's what Pa says. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. Yay! Thanks for letting me share a favorite book of mine and two of my favorite things, owls and moons. So on Thursday, May 7th, it's a full moon. So the moon will look like a complete circle. We'll be able to see all of it. And I find that on full moons, there's always a little more activity in the night. Maybe because I'm out for most of those full moons. So if you on Thursday choose to watch the moon rise or choose to go out howling at the owls or choose to draw a picture of the moon or choose to do any moon yoga for our owl moon, you will be in good company with me because I will be doing one or all of those things with you. Let's find a mindful body. Let's sit up nice and tall. I'm going to rest my eyes closed for a minute and think about a time that I saw the moon. Maybe it was full, maybe it was a sliver, crescent smile. Maybe it wasn't the nighttime. Maybe it wasn't the day. I always love when I see the moon and the sun up together. It's a favorite. So just bring that visualization to your mind. Sit up a little taller, lifting your heart towards the moon, the crown of your head towards the sky. Thanks so much for being with me. Have fun howling at the moon, looking for owls.